Hello, welcome to Current Event News. I'm Tanner Boyson, and let's start off with some local news. On Tuesday, a high school student brought a handgun to school because his teacher threatened to fail him in class if he didn't turn in his project. Luckily, a 17-year-old student saw the handgun in his backpack during class sometime after lunch when he was pulling out his folder. The kid went to the principal and told the principal that the kid had a handgun, and they sent out the resources officer. The kid was charged with having a gun under 18 for juvenile and for having a gun on campus. So he was charged on 2 accounts. My next story for local news is Phoenix officials will require people attending city council meetings to walk through metal detectors and get their bags checked if they have any, such as purse, briefcases, bags, or any of that. Some people don't like this idea. Although the Tucson shooting was tragic, some people say that it's unnecessary and there's enough police to handle the situation. Greta Rogers is one of them. We have no threats here and we have enough police around so that if one cook walked in, he'd be sorry, she said. We'll keep you posted on the news, and that's it for local news. Now with your local weather for the week. Monday is sunny. The high is 77 degrees and the low is 48 degrees. Tuesday is partly cloudy with the high 79 degrees and the low 51 degrees. Wednesday is partly cloudy again, 77 degrees and low is 53 degrees. Thursday is partly cloudy, the high is 66 degrees and the low is 45 degrees. Friday is partly cloudy again, and the high is 67 degrees and the low is 46 degrees. Saturday is rainy, and the high is 61 degrees and the low is 46 degrees. And that is your weather for the week. Here's a new segment called Grammy Watch. Now, these were the important Grammys. I didn't have all of them, so let's get started. Song of the Year Grammy nominees were Bray LaMontage and the Perea Dogs, Beg, Steal, or Borrow, CeeLo Green, Forget You, Miranda Lambert, The House That Built Me, Eminem featuring Rihanna, Love the Way You Lie, Lady Antebellum, Need You Now, and the winner was Lady Antebellum, Need You Now. Album of the Year nominees were Arcade Fire, The Suburbs, Eminem, Recovery, Lady Antebellum, Need You Now, Lady Gaga, Fame Monster, Katy Perry, Teenage Dream. And the winner for Album of the Year was Arcade Fire, The Suburbs. Record of the Year nominees were B.O.B. featuring Bruno Mars, Nothing on You, Eminem featuring Rihanna, Love the Way You Lie, CeeLo Green, Forget You, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, Empire State of Mind, Lady Antebellum, Need You Now. And the winner was Lady Antebellum, Need You Now. Best New Artist nominees were Justin Bieber, Drake, Florence the Machine, Mumford & Sons, and Esperanza Spalding. And the winner was Esperanza Spalding. That's it for the Grammy Watch. Keep you posted. And that's for the 4 best categories. Now it's time for entertainment news. DC Wax Museum makes room for all the U.S. presidents. Washington. A new gallery opening in Washington will show figures of the U.S. presidents together in the nation's capital for the first time. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum opened a $2 million revamped attraction Thursday. It hoped to increase the appeal to tourists and school groups by pushing presidents over pop stars. Tussauds had to create 28 new wax presidents, many based on paintings or historical accounts when photos were not available. There are presidents as John Adams, James Madison, former President George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. And that is it for entertainment news. Now for some more entertainment news. On Tuesday, on a show called Jeopardy, there was a new star that they had. His name is Watson. Watson is a supercomputer created by IBM Technologies that thinks like no other computer in the world. It is the smartest, and it thinks like a human brain. It uses certain formulas to match some words with another and figure out the sentence, and figure out the best possible answers out of all the possible answers and eliminate it to one answer. Now, he has no common sense, so sometimes when you ask him some stuff, he could be off. So he played against two other players in Jeopardy. Those people's names were Ken and Brad. The supercomputer got tied with Brad at the end, but some of the questions he answered really fast. That is all for your entertainment news. Now it's time for some world news. Egypt. February 11th, 2011, the Egyptians finally get what they've been protesting for 18 days. Mr. Mubarak finally resigned after 18 days of protest. It was his 30th year of serving, and he finally resigned. He fired the cabinet with him also. He turned all of his powers to the military, and the Egyptians heard this during the prayer time. The Egyptians want to turn the government into a democracy. That ended Mr. Mubarak's 30 years of service. That is it for the Egypt story.
Kenyans' excavation of this city mentioned in Joshua showed the walls had been repaired 17 times. Watson.
What is Jericho?
Correct. By Gorge in 1959, she and hubby Lewis found a 1.75 million year old Australopithecus Boise-eyed skull. Watson.
Who is Mary Leakey?
You're right. Harriet Boyd Hawes was the first woman to discover and excavate a Minoan settlement on this island. Watson.
What is Crete?
Yes. Gigi gave him his signature song, Thank Heaven for Little Girls. Watson.
Who is Maurice Chevalier?
Correct.
River Nile across the bridge. In the background, you're seeing all that white smoke. You can probably hear those explosions as well in the background. It seems that riot police are firing tear gas, and it seems that it's being shot in the direction northbound from that bridge, which is running. It's called the Asr Al Aini Bridge, and it's being shot towards the October 6th bridge, where some of the protesters are. So all the traces of white smoke that you are seeing that are being lobbed right now at the protesters and landing on them are being fired from the, and you can see actually there the water cannons as well being fired, which indicates that at least within the vicinity of the riot police there are some protesters. But what seems to have appeared right now from where we are standing, riot police have taken over, and let me just correct this, it's the Asr Nil Bridge, Asr Nil Bridge. Riot police have taken over that entire bridge. Protesters are on the October 6th bridge, and they're just several hundred meters away from each other. But what you're seeing is the riot police essentially trying to disperse the protesters that have